I visited Chateau Frank on Keuka Lake to hear Frederick Frank explain the Chateau Frank champagne creation process.
I'm standing here in front of a wall of bottles at Chateau Frank, and this is known in French as en tirage, where we're actually hand stacking these bottles. It's a special technique so that they nest within one another. And the reason we go through all this effort is because it saves space versus having them in cases or in bins. Remember, this is a 2007 vintage. It's going to age 7 years on the yeast before it's ready. So it won't be till 2014 that we're actually taking this wall of bottles down. So that's really, I mean, besides looking beautiful, it really serves the purpose in a very efficient long-term storage of the bottles. And of course, the environment down here is ideal for the long-term storage of these sparkling wines. It's very quiet, it's dark, it's cool year-round, humid, perfect environment for the long-term aging. 7 years for these sparkling wines, and they will actually get better and better before they're disgorged. The yeast will break down over time. It's called yeast autolysis, and we'll pick up beautiful yeasty, toasty components in the sparkling wines. And there's no way to speed up this process. With all our technology, these time-honored techniques that Dom Perignon developed hundreds of years ago, known as méthode champenoise, still make the best sparkling wines the world over.
Frederick Frank now describes the steps of processing after the champagne's 7-year fermentation period.
We're picking a flint bottle, a clear bottle, to show, and you can see how the yeast now is starting to come off the side of the bottle and is creating some cloudiness in the bottle. So the challenge in producing this world-class sparkling wines is how do we get this clear so that people can enjoy this wonderful sparkling wine. Now, the advantage of second fermentation occurring in the same bottle you buy is that all the bubbles are captured in the bottle. The wonderful yeasty aromas and flavors are captured in the bottle. And this technique is known as méthode champenoise. It was first invented by Dom Perignon hundreds of years ago in France. And to this day, we follow these same time-honored techniques. They make the best sparkling wines in the world, and it's referred to as méthode champenoise. So we have this challenge of how do we get this wine clear, and that's where the méthode champenoise techniques come into play. And the first step is what we call riddling. So the riddling can be done two ways: mechanically, through what we call a gyro palette. This is a machine developed in France where a whole pallet of these bottles is shook simultaneously and gradually tilted up. Or if you can follow me over here, we can use what's called an A-frame riddling rack. And the bottles are put in first on almost a horizontal basis. And our professional riddlers will shake them and smash them into the rack. Shake them and smash them into the rack. Shake them and smash them in. And when they're all done, the bottles are almost upside down, and the yeast has collected. This takes 2 weeks to do. The yeast is collected in the neck and into a nice fine, what we call a yeast plug. So the wine is all clear. And through this riddling action over a 2-week period, we have the yeast is all condensed into maybe a ½ inch to an inch of solid yeast in the neck. And this is known as a neck chiller. We have a super chill glycol solution bath here. And basically the neck of the bottle is going to be suspended in this super chill glycol solution, which will freeze about an inch. That's immersed in this bath, including the yeast plug. So in other words, the yeast will now be frozen, and this will allow the winemaker then, we have a hooded device which will allow him to take the cap off, okay, and then the pressure from the bottle will shoot out this yeast plug, and the remaining wine will be clear. Now, through this process, we have lost a little bit of wine. We're now at the dosage machine, and we're going to refill the proper height. Through the disgorging process, we did lose a little bit of foam, a little bit of wine, so we need to refill the proper height. But also, we add this wonderful dosage, which is the final step or final ingredient that allows our winemakers to add that last bit of quality to the sparkling wine. So the dosage could be an older wine, it could be the same wine, it could be a little sugar solution. It's just the final ingredient to improve the sparkling wine, and it also refills the proper height. So we're now at the corker machine, and this puts in a very thick cork to keep the pressure in the bottle without it escaping. And then after it's corked, we have our wire hood machine, and that prevents the cork from coming out inadvertently. When the process is all done, this is what it looks like. It has a nice thick champagne cork forced into the bottle. Once this is done, we load them into these wooden bins, transport them upstairs. We're now at the final step of the process at Chateau Frank. We've now washed these bottles, we've dried them in the racks here, and we're ready to put the final process or step is the foil. So we put the foil on, and then we have a machine that crimps it. The labels are self-adhesive labels that go on from our labeling machine. And then this wonderful product is ready to be enjoyed, whether it be the White House or the Albany State House, or it could even be your house. And you know, sparkling wines don't need to be open just for special celebrations. They're ideal with all kinds of cuisine and make any day special. So next Wednesday night, why not open some of New York's finest sparkling wines that competes with some of the best French champagnes and some of the best from the West Coast. And our cool climate here in the Finger Lakes is ideal for producing world-class sparkling wines. So thanks for joining us here at Chateau Frank in Hammondsport, New York. Come visit us. We're open year-round, 7 days a week. We'd love to have you come visit and view our beautiful vineyard view of Chateau Lake from our tasting room and taste some of the finest wines in New York. Thanks for joining us.